Hi boys and girls, today we are going to be converting customary units, which is what you see on the picture. They're the measurements that we most commonly use in the United States to measure distance, to measure capacity or volume with liquids, and to measure your weight or your mass of things. So what we're going to be doing is if I give you one unit, you can convert it to tell me what it's equal to in another unit label. I would like you to flip your workbooks open to page 306, and on page 306 you can follow along using their examples, but I am showing you the work in a different way. So you need to copy my work down along with each example. Okay, we're given an Illinois Assessment of Readiness reference sheet, which is what you are given in April when you're going to be taking the test, but I also gave it to you because you should use it in your homework, you should use it in class practice, and you will be allowed to also use it on the test. Okay, so that'll be popping up. You need to have that next to you, and as we're going to look at example 1, you're filling this in some empty space that you have on this page as an example for how we're converting customary units of length. The sidewalk in front of a store is 4.5 feet wide. So I know it's 4.5 feet wide, but the city regulations establish a maximum width for sidewalks of 66 inches. Does the sidewalk meet the regulation? So the sidewalk could be any length, but it has to be less than or equal to 66 inches. Well, this is a problem because I have feet, but I need inches. So we need to figure out 4.5 feet is equal to how many inches? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this chart. And I'm going to start with the first number that is given. I know 4.5 feet. And you have to label in your work. You have to label within it. That's just the only way you're doing this. I need to go from feet to inches. So what we would do is we would look at our chart, but I say, hold on a second, I don't see anything with feet to inches. Well, you should know that 1 foot is the same as 12 inches, right? So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use this rate, this conversion factor, to cancel out my feet. I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Now, why did I put it there? Because if feet is in the top, it cross-cancels with the feet in the bottom, and I am only left with inches. So my units that are diagonal have to cross-cancel each other out. Then I multiply what's across to get my answer and simplify. So I'm going to do 4.5 times 12 over, there's just a 1 in the bottom. Pick up your calculator. 4.5 times 12 is 54 over 1, which just simplifies to 54 inches. So if the sidewalk is 54 inches, does that fit the regulations? Yes, because the regulations have to be less than or equal to 66. So does it fit? Yes, it sure does. All right, let's go to example 2 where we're going to be using capacity. I'm using the same format with capacity. Jonah has 15 gallons of water for a camping trip. How many quarts does he have? Well, I'm going to start with my unit of 15 gallons. I'm labeling it because I need that gallons label to be able to cross-cancel. So I need to look for in my capacity portion of my conversion chart, and I know that 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. So gallons are diagonal, that unit cross cancels, and I'm left with my quart label, which is what I wanted to be left with. I'm going to take my numbers and multiply across to get a fraction. So I'm going to do 15 times 4 over 1, which is equal to 60 over 1, and that simplifies to 60 quarts. Okay? Now my one at the bottom, the try it. You follow this and do this one with me. Brandon is making bread. His recipe says to use 2.5 tablespoons of sugar. So how many teaspoons of sugar is this? Well, I have a mixed number. So what I need to do is I need to say that my 2.5 is actually equal to 5 halves. So I'm starting with 5 halves tablespoons. I want my tablespoon labels to cross cancel. So you're going to use the customary unit that's not on the IAR sheet, but it is in your textbook and I added it here. I know that 1 tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. So where will the 1 go in the 3? Does the 1 go on the top or the bottom? Remember, we want to cross cancel. The 1 goes on the bottom because if I put my 1 on the bottom for tablespoons, they will cross cancel, and 1 tablespoon is equal to 3 teaspoons. Those units cross cancel and I'm left with the unit I want at the top. Now I'm going to multiply across and go 5 times 3 over 2 times 1. This time was different because you had numbers on the bottom that you're multiplying with. 5 times 3 is 15, 2 times 1 is 2, and that simplifies to 7 1/2 teaspoons as your answer. Okay, so to review all of that so far, you start with what's given, your labels diagonal need to cross cancel, and then you multiply your numbers across and on the bottom to get a fraction which you'll simplify. All right, example 3, the try it. We're going to skip right to the try it at the bottom. It says, how many pounds does the elephant weigh? Well, we know because of the picture that Stella weighs 3.3 tons. So I'm going to take 3.3 tons, and I need to cross cancel the tons and get pounds. So if we look at our conversion label, or in the middle, our conversion factors for our reference sheet, we know that 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. So 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. Tons cross cancel, and I'm just going to multiply my numbers on the top. Multiply my numbers on the top and then my numbers on the bottom. 3.3 times 2,000 is 6,600 over 1, which means Stella is a whopping 6,600 pounds. Okay? Now, go over into the next page, 309, and let's sum up what we said. We said that when we convert customary units, we start with the unit given. We need to cross cancel labels using your conversion rates. And then you multiply and you simplify. Okay, so if I go, make sure you copy that down. If you need to pause it, go ahead and pause it. That's the benefit of a video, is you can pause it and rewatch it as you need. All right, we're going to go ahead and go to number 5. Okay, if I want 27 inches to yards, why don't you go ahead and pause this? Well, let's do this one together. We have 27 inches, right? What do we know about inches? We know that 12 inches is 1 foot, right? And I know that my inches labels will cross, but I want to end up with yards and I'm only left with feet. If this is the case, you need to continue your reducing. How can you go from feet to yards? We need to find the pattern. Well, I know that 3 feet, I know that, 3 feet is 1 yard. So then my feet labels cancel and I'm left with yards. So sometimes you do have to do a double unit cancel, which is why it's so important that you put your labels. To solve this one then, we do 27 times 1 times 1 over 12 times 3. This is 27 over 36, and you could actually divide that to get 0.75. Our label would be yards. So all I want you to do is converting that. This says use dimensional analysis, but let's just convert 1.8 pounds to ounces. So I have 1.8 pounds I want to get to ounces. Well, I know 1 pound is 16 ounces, and my labels cross cancel. So I'm left with 1.8 times 16 over 1. When you use your calculator, you're going to get that this is 28.8, and your label would be ounces. Okay, what I want you to do next is I want you to cross out problem 4 on this page, and I want you to complete these 2 problems. Pause the video to do so, and then you can unpause the video when you are done to check your answers and see how you did. All right, welcome back. We should have said that if I wanted to go from 4.5 pints to fluid ounces, I need to make it improper. In order to do that, I'm going to take the 4 and 1/2. I know that 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so it's 9 over 2 pints. And I need them to cancel, so I know 1 pint is equal to 2 cups. My pints label's gone. I need to keep going though. I know that 1 cup,
Can we please see
1 cup is equal to, sorry about that boys and girls, 8 fluid ounces. Those cancel, and I'm going to do 9 times 2 times 8 over 2 times 1 times 1. This becomes 144 over 2, which simplifies to 72 fluid ounces. All right, 440 yards to miles. 440 yards, I got to get it to miles. Because of my IAR reference sheet, I know that 1,760 yards is equal to 1 mile. My units cancel, and I'm left with miles. So I'm going to do 440 over 1 equals, over 1,760, which, when these simplify and you divide, you get that it is 0.25 miles. Now, I want you to go to page 309. I want you to do problems 8 through 13 and then 23. You must show your work. You need to use labels in your work, okay? That's your homework, and we'll go over this tomorrow. Have a great day.